to the point to center ice. Stopped at the Soviet line. Another quick break by Mikhailov. Mikhailov is knocked down on the play. A shot goes wide, and they're certainly drilling them. Gusev stands there, number 2, gets a shot away. It bounced off Park. Here's another chance. Petrov passed in front instead of shooting. Mahavlich took his man out. Is cornered in the corner. Lapointe takes his pass. Cleared it over the blue line to Park. Going down with Esposito on his right. Esposito cutting it on goal. Tetriak stopped it, and Park just missed on the rebound. The Soviet upset. Yakushev gets away at center ice after upsetting the Canadian player. Yakushev overskated the puck. It's still in there, intercepted by Kornoye, and Petrov of the Soviet was stopped too. Now Bergman at center to Esposito, to Henderson, as the Canadian team are changing on the go. Soviet leading 4-2. 3:32 left in the second period, and the Soviets have had a good edge in this second period. They've given a great example of team play. A loose puck in front of that net. They're always threatening. Shadron had his chance. Number 19. Cleared pass over in that far wing. Good chance now for Ori down the wing, and he ran into the official and was checked by the referee. Return pass to center ice. Shadron gets it across to Yakushev. Yakushev checked by the Ranger player Hadfield, and it goes right back into the Soviet zone, brought out again by Polatiev. Quick move by Shadron, a quick shot was right on there, and Dryden had to be very good. Now Hadfield breaks out, going down with Rattel, going into the corner. He's watched by Polatiev. They jam in there. Shadron was there too. With the score, the Soviets 4 and Canada 2. This is game 1 from Montreal. All set for the face-off in the Soviet zone. Rattel is taking it. Shadron got the draw, cleared a forward pass. Varlamov coming in very fast. His pass was knocked down. Gilbert recovering after Bergman made the stop. They're certainly skating, these Soviets. A rolling pass and a quick pass now to Maltsev. Maltsev back at center ice with Vikolov. Vikolov takes the pass. Varlamov was trailing there, but the puck didn't reach him. Rattel for Canada is turned around by Varlamov. They mix it up a bit. Puck is still loose. Bergman coming out for Canada. Over to Gilbert. Back to Bergman. Across the line. Sugankov stopped him. It rolls out at center. Maltsev is beaten to the puck by Park, number 5 for Canada. Puck rolls to Bergman again. Bergman knocked it off the boards to Peter Mahavlich. Here's a shot. And Tretiak covering that angle perfectly on every shot. Just there's no room anywhere. Varlamov gets the puck back to Ragulin for the Soviets, to Maltsev, number 10. Maltsev up over the line, a long shot. Dryden stopped it. Cleared to the side to Peter Mahavlich with Red Berenson at center. Mickey Redmond on the right side, offside. And it's called back to the Soviet blue line with 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining. Soviets 4, Canada 2.
There's a look at Alexander Ragulin, 220 pounds, 6 feet. He's been in international hockey since 1963.
Well, he's been rejuvenated, Brian. I think he's certainly moving fairly fast tonight. Leanoff goes over the line. Here's a close in. Mikhailov goes right in on goal. Mikhailov was right in on Dryden. They both fell to the ice. But this fellow Mikhailov is really going in there.
Now watch them get to the puck to the outside. Mikhailov comes in very low. He's going down. Dryden, good concentration. Gets the pads up to smother the play.
Face-off in Canada's zone to the left of Dryden. Petrov will take the face-off. Now Ellis comes out. He's replacing...
Foster, Team Canada is having to expend so much energy in getting the puck in their own end that when they do actually get a rush, they seem to be tired out.
The puck is still in the Canadian zone. Peter Mahovlich passed it right onto Petrov's stick. Petrov shot one, and it went over the glass into the crowd. 51 seconds remaining in the second period.
Team Canada here is looking for breakout patterns that will get them up the ice, get them moving up the ice with some momentum, with some good speed, with some good puck control. The Soviets are intercepting almost everything they try.
In the face-off, Canada gets the draw, but they didn't clear it out. It's Seelig now shooting it out off Clark's stick to center ice. Blinoff, number 9, left it for Kuzkin. Forward pass to Mikhailov went astray. They're against the boards. Puck rolls over into the Soviet zone, and Gusev, number 2, cleared it to center ice. Now Seelig for Canada, going up over the line, tried a lob pass. Gusev outguessed him by stopping with his skate. Blinoff passed right in front of his own goal, and Kuzkin cleared a long forward pass into the Canadian zone. Seelig going back, and it's called for icing.
This has been wonderful hockey to watch if you realize that they've gone at times for 3 and 4 minutes without even a whistle. And that was one of the few stray passes that the Soviets have made, or in fact Team Canada. I think this has been as good hockey as I can remember seeing for many years, Foster.
Right. And the amazing thing is that Canada scored the first 2 goals, and the Soviets have come back with 4 in a row without a reply from Canada.
Harry Sinden's got to get Frank Mahovlich going again, and I can see him talking to him right now. Frank has to be a key player on this team. When Frank Mahovlich wants to play hockey, there is no greater hockey player in the world.
One thing is very noticeable, I think, Brian, and that is the Canadian team have yet to produce a leader. They're still going in as individuals, and no one seems to get them really going. Clark trying to get that draw from the face-off with Lyapkin. It goes down the ice, and it's going to be called for icing. And the face-off will be brought back.
Foster, I can just imagine the Team Canada and the Soviets. I mean, the heat in this building is tremendous. And they must just be very, very tired players right now, and it's very tough for them to get up for this.
From the face-off, they just had to drop the puck, and the period ends. With the score, the Soviets 4 and Canada 2. This is Game 1 from Montreal. Well, the Soviets went into the second period tied 2-2 after a stirring first period, but they indicated they were well on their way and improving every move. And it was Harlamov who scored 2 goals in that second period to more or less break it wide open for the Soviet team. 2:40 and 10:18 were the times of the 2 Soviet goals. Previously, Esposito had scored for Canada, and Henderson made it 2-0. Then Zeman got the first one for the Soviet, and Petrov tied it up. And so it's a 4-2 game going into the last period when the Russians seem to be in control at this stage.
Foster, at the end of this game, there will be a special presentation to each of the Canadian and Soviet series. A panel of writers and broadcasters will select the outstanding player from each team in each game. The player will be presented with a hockey rink created especially for this series by the CTV and CBC television networks and the sponsors of these hockey telecasts. The presentation will take place immediately after the game on the ice surface.
And Brian, the official attendance at tonight's game, 18,818. 18,818.
I don't know if...
Must be a record, isn't it?
Well, I'm not sure if it is a record or not, but if it isn't, there certainly isn't an empty seat in the Montreal Forum tonight.
And I imagine there are quite a few really shocked. And incidentally, in this third period, they'll go 10 minutes, and then they change ends. That's according to the international rules. And then they have, of course, the last 10 minutes in that position. So it's something unusual for Canadian fans to see, but that's what happens in international hockey. They split the last period in half. And now we're lining up for the last desperate drive in the last period, and the Canadian team will have to improve to get back into contention. Petrov is out there with Mihailov and Blinov for the Soviet. Kuskin rushes in on the clearing pass, and Blinov comes right back, number 9 at center for the Soviet. In on the defense, he's turned around by Bergman with Esposito clearing ahead on the left side to Kornoye with Gusev going back to that. A loose spot, Canada recovery. Esposito had it, he gets shot in front of the net. Another lob went wide, and Esposito had a great chance there. Back come the Soviet team down the right side from Mihailov, and he shot wide. It goes over to Petrov, who knocked it into the corner. Park playing it around back of the net with Mahovlich clearing on the right wing too far. Petrov broke it up. Blinov tried to go in on that side, stopped by Park. Park holds it momentarily long enough for a face-off with Petrov standing by.
Once again, a good example of the tremendous strength the Soviets have along the boards. Brad Park made a good move to try and get away from him. The Soviets managed to hook him and hold him up against the boards. Park had no alternative but to freeze the puck. That's Yuri Blinov leaving the ice. He only is about 5 feet 7 inches. He weighs 157 pounds, but it's 157 pounds of muscle.
Zeman, Shadrin, and Yakushev going out there for the Soviet. And Clark, Ellis, and Henderson for Canada. LaPointe is on there with Sealing, and the long shot goes into the corner. Zeman cleared to his teammate Shadrin, who goes in back to the net, stopped by Clark. They pass it back, and the defensive pair of Lyapkin and Paladiev have to go back for it. Starting again, a pass is loose at center ice. Finally grabbed off by Yakushev. Henderson goes in ahead of him. Paul Henderson couldn't get loose, but Clark does down the left side at center. And the puck goes into the corner. Ellis shunted his man out of position and then was knocked over. Puck goes to one side, cleared over onto the far wing. Lyapkin up to center ice. 25, shoots it around back of the net. Dryden let it go to one side. Henderson lost it, but it's cleared by LaPointe, but not out. On in and back of the net. Zeman is going into the corner. Number 11 jammed there, held against the boards. The puck is loose, though. LaPointe plays it ahead to Henderson, up on the wing, and Redmond, now on the right side, had to stop. Now Redmond getting a chance, 24. The drive was right on there, and Tretiak came up with a big one. Up to center ice for Shadrin. Over the line, stopped at the defense, and it's lobbed out to center ice. Yakushev playing it back to Sigankov as they change on the go, both teams. Harlamov, the star of the game so far, going down that left side, was stopped by Park. And Red Berenson cleared, but not out. Here's another chance, but Harlamov was stopped. A return rush by Canada. Redmond going in, pass to an open wing, and there's the team play that doesn't exist at times. Harlamov going down that left wing for the Soviet. Dropped a pass over to Vikolov. To one side for Maltsev. He shoots it over onto the far wing. Soviet keep it in there. Quick pass is knocked down. They get it again. Harlamov coming right in front of the goal. Takes a shot, and Dryden grabbed it, and there's just no stopping this Harlamov, who seems to be here, there, and everywhere.
You're looking at Harlamov, has to be their top player. Now, he's a complete hockey player. Look at the footwork here. He loses it, kicks it up, gets it back into a place to shoot. The second it's on his stick, it's gone. Dryden was called upon to make a big save. You notice how Bergman is backing right in on his defense, or on his goaltender, and this is causing Dryden a lot of trouble getting a good clear chance to see the puck.
All set for the face-off with Petrov knocking it wide. Bergman going in back of the net. Still a slight fog coming off the ice. The puck goes bouncing into the crowd as Hatfield was checked. Puck is in front of the Canadian blue line. You can see that fog coming up off the ice there. Must be disturbing to the players. Hatfield now starts down the left side. and it's shot right back to center ice where Park plays it across to Bergman. Bergman for Canada drove one into the Russian bench, and the Soviets really ducked on that one. Face-off is going to be just to one side of the regular spot. Rattel now going to center with Hatfield and Gilbert on the wings. Mihailov, Petrov, and Blinov are out there for the Soviet. Kuzkin on the defense backing up at center ice, tapped that puck into the crowd, number 4.
Soviets here are getting a little more confidence now. You can see on that last shift, Karlamov came out there. He did some of his fancy stick work. There's a look at Brad Park leaving the ice. Good solid shift by Brad Park. Vic Hadfield, number 18, Jean Rattel. But that New York unit has not yet been able to combine as the unit they must. The crowd's trying to pick them up here.
Esposito is now at center ice. Bernoulli is over on that right wing. Frank Mahovlich on the left. Shadron is at center ice for the Soviet with Yakushev and Zeman on the wings. Zeman 11. Puck is over on that far side. Lyapkin and Polodev are on the defense for the Soviet. Down the right wing for Zeman. Gets his shot away, and it was a rising drive that was about a foot off the target and went into the crowd. You can see the fog coming off the ice there now. Seems to be getting worse all the time.
It's interesting when you see the Soviets slap the puck like that. That's a habit that I think they picked up from the North American hockey.
All set. The puck is dropped. Canada recovers. Lapointe on the defense with Sealing. Goes in back of the net. Lapointe getting lots of extra work after the first period. Now Lapointe coming up over the line to center ice. Cleared it on into the corner. Lyapkin recovered momentarily. Paladiev took a jolt. The puck rolls around Esposito, who's had some great chances. Nearly had one there. And the puck is shot down the ice into the Canadian zone. And the Soviets will be called back. With the score, the Soviets 4 and Canada 2. This is game 1 from Montreal. The face-off will be in the Soviet zone. Maltsev is ready for the face-off, but Clark moves away.
Phil Esposito must feel a little bit like he's in that series against Montreal a few years ago.
He just can't click around that net tonight. Now a quick pass on the right side. Vikolov took a long shot, another hot one too. Harlamov took another whack, then he bumps in to Sealing, gave him a jolt, recovered that puck. Sigankov was right on, another shot, right back there by Maltsev, and it was off the target, and that fog is getting quite bad in the Canadian zone. Soviets still keep it in there. Harlamov just keeping a string on that puck. Finally, it's cleared out by Lapointe. Ellis tried to go down the right side, then Clark followed him, passed to Henderson, who knocked it to the corner. Raglan was there to stop it, and they lob it out. Maltsev was able to drive it to center. It's right back in again. Raglan getting it across to Sigankov. Sigankov passes on the right wing. Harlamov going back from center ice, back into his own zone, being watched by Peter Mahovlich, and Raglan played it over on the far side to Vikolov, number 18. Now Canada starts to move. Redmond failed to get across. Carried back by Blinov. Blinov going down that left wing, a hard shot, but off the target. From the side, a rolling pass. Blinov gets a whack at it. Bergman stopped him, and you could hardly see him in the fog as he fell. A quick pass goes to the side. They're right in front of the net. A shot. Dryden stopped that one, and it goes back to the goal. A very close call. Blinov was right in on that play. Now Canada with Red Berenson up to center. He couldn't get by Petrov. Peter Mahovlich is forced back by Petrov. He goes in front of his own net, cutting over on the right wing, a forward at center to Redmond. who lobbed it right onto Gusev's stick. A roller was intercepted by Red Berenson, but to no avail. Park, number 5 for Canada, is watched, but Mihailov and Bergman played it out to center ice to Esposito, who's out now at center with Mahovlich on one wing, and Cournoyer is out on the right wing for Canada. Quick pass to Petrov. He shoots it down the ice. Yakushev was coming on at the time.
Foster, what Team Canada hasn't been able to do in this game so far is slow down the play. The tempo has been too fast.
Mr. Pearson is coming into view there, and the Prime Minister. The face-off is going to be brought up into the Soviet zone. Esposito is pointing to indicate where the players should stand. Mahovlich couldn't control the puck. Shadron getting it over to Yakushev. Yakushev leaves it back at his defense. A forward to Shadron. Stopped, but offside as Esposito couldn't get out in time as Cournoyer was trying to move in.
Foster, as I was saying earlier there, one of the things that Team Canada hasn't been able to do, and they must get Bobby Orr into this series because they need a player who can control the tempo. If they have to play it at this fast pace, they will not be able to beat the Soviets.
From the face-off, the puck goes into the corner. They're jamming there. The puck is loose, though. Here's a pass that goes astray. Zeman brings it out. Yakushev going down with them. They shoot it around back of the goal. It's into the corner. Back to the blue line at center. It's grabbed off by Cournoyer. Coming in with a pass to Mahovlich right in. And he failed to lift the puck over Tretriak. Another shot on Tetriak, who is very steady. That one by Sealing.
I don't think Frank Mahovlich would have missed that in the middle of the season. He fought for control of the puck, and this will happen. They've been practicing for 3 days. Perfect play by Cournoyer. Now Frank's struggling with it on his backhand. Doesn't quite get the control he needs to lift the puck up to the top of the net. When a goaltender comes out that far on you, you have to get the puck up.
It was a great chance, and a goal at this stage is very important, one way or the other. Henderson for Canada centers out to Ellis. He tries to score! Clark deflected that one into the net. Clark from Henderson and Ellis. And the game has opened up again. That makes it Soviets 4, Canada 3.
That was a beautiful shot by Ronnie Ellis because he was smart enough to keep the puck on the ice. He's shooting from a perfect area. Bobby Clark parked right on the goal step, and he just tips it in, and is he happy? A big goal for Canada because they now have 11 and a half minutes left, and it's now anybody's hockey game.
This will really stir them up. This is what was needed for Canada. Now then, Canada on the move. A shot right on Tetriak. The crowd are going wild. Park going from the corner. Tried to center out to Clark, who gets it back in the corner. And Maltsev is stopped with a Henderson getting the pass. Clark deflected that one into the net to put Canada back in the game. 4-3 for the Soviets. It's Sugankov clearing down the right side, closing right in front of the net. And the puck is batted down to the Soviet blue line, and the players change as they go along. Raglan clearing ahead to Harlamov. Henderson and Ellis got assists on Clark's goal to make it 4-3 for the Soviets and put Canada back in the game. Here they come again. Canada moving up over the line. Redmond takes the pass to Mahovlich, who missed it. Sealing takes a shot. Red Berenson recovers. Centers out off to the side. It goes into the corner. Lapointe fights for that puck, shooting it back on the net. Redmond cleared it back into the corner to him. Vikolov plays it out now, and the Soviets come back with Maltsev alone, and they're a little shaky at the moment under Canadian pressure. Lapointe starting a rush. fed it up to center ice, and here's the halfway mark in the period. This is game one from Montreal. 10 minutes to go, and the fans are going wild all over the country, and right here. They're just standing up and cheering, "Go Canada, go." Canada needs one more goal to tie it up. The puck goes to Bergman to center ice to Esposito, who is checked quickly by Petrov. Over to Blinov, into the corner. Park squeezed him out. It goes back of the goal, and what a torrid contest this is. Bernoyer playing it over too far for Mahavlich. Grabbed off by Kuskin, fed to Mihailov, and he is checked. Now Esposito going down with Bergman. He just failed to get the pass. Bergman and Kuskin going back of the net, and the Soviets shoot it down the ice. Park is going back for it. It's sliding slowly over the line, and that ice is very sticky.
Foster, I don't think there's any hockey game in history that has had more people watching it. There are people all over the world seeing this game on television in the Soviet Union, all over Europe, Canada, the United States.
And it's a tremendous hockey game too, Brian. It has everything.
I think that goal by Bobby Clark has shaken the Soviets' confidence a little bit here. They seem to go back in a bit of a shell. And they're now not so confident with only a one-goal lead. And this is what Team Canada needs. That will slow the tempo down. Team Canada is now starting to get the edge, and they're pulling it away from the Soviets again.
Clark is at center with Henderson and Ellis. The puck goes to the corner. Poladiev failed to clear it out. Another try by the same player, 26, lost it. Canada coming right on goal! Oh, that was close, as Henderson had a drive from close in. Again, Lyapkin cleared it over on the far wing. A race for the puck. Shadron is skated off. The Soviet recover again outside the Canadian line. Shoot it in. Zeman took a good bump from Ellis. Henderson tried to get a pass. It rolls out at center ice. And the puck goes high into the crowd when Lapointe was checked on that far side by the Canadian bench.
Harry Sinden has good reason to be happy with this Clark, Ellis, and Henderson line, because there's no question that they are playing the best as a unit, and it shows every time they're out on the ice. Bobby Clark, I personally believe, is probably the best forechecker in the National Hockey League today.
He's certainly doing great guns tonight. 8:40 left in the game. 4-3 for the Soviet, and Canada fighting hard to get back into a tie at least. Park goes back on a clearing shot behind his own goal. Rattel is out on the forward line with Gilbert and Hadfield. Rattel, 18, played it over on the far side to Hadfield. He drives it into the corner. A race for the puck. Lechenko was stopped. Rattel centered it. Tretiak stopped it. Lechenko stopped by Hadfield. Hadfield trying to dig it out from back of the net, and the play is stopped with Sagankov and Lechenko covering him. And that fog persists.
The fog does persist. It has to be a bit of a distraction because they play the puck in their feet so often, Foster. When there's fog like that, it just is a bit of a distraction, and when you have your head down, you don't want to get corked.
From the face-off, Canada gets the puck again. Rattel centered out in front to Gilbert. Gilbert centered it, and Hadfield failed to get the pass. Sagankov cleared out as Maltsev comes up at center ice. Maltsev, number 10, keeps on going past Park into the corner. Stopped by Gilbert and given a jolt against the boards by Hadfield. Lechenko couldn't cover his man. It's brought to center by Rattel. Gilbert races after it, gets it back of the net, centers it, and Mahavlich let a high one go. Soviet stop. Lechenko. Maltsev stopped. And Peter Mahavlich going in with Redmond. A drive is wide. And the Canadian team are fighting with everything. The puck slides out to center ice. Lapointe played it over to the open wing. Lapointe goes after it. Drives it on into the corner for Canada. In back of the net. And Lechenko clears the forward pass to Mihailov. Lechenko stopped. Oh, Mahavlich had a royal chance there. Redmond bumps around with Sagankov. Sagankov is shoved around by Redmond, and that nearly started something, but Peter Mahovlich had a great chance there from about 20 feet out.
It's inevitable that the pressure's going to build up, and Guy Lapointe is a very highly strung. Now look at, here's a great shot by Mahovlich. Now Tretiak comes out, cuts the angle down. What's he have to shoot at? Nothing but Tretiak. He picks it out of the air. Redmond comes steaming into the goal crease, and of course the Soviet teammates come to defend their goaltender. But Foster, I have to be totally impressed by Team Canada. They are putting out a tremendous effort here, and it's...
Bernoyer had a quick shot from the face-off there and just missed by 2 inches. Bernoyer gets it back to Mahovlich. They're really battling. A pass goes astray. Blinov comes right back for the Soviet. Passes to Mihailov, coming in on goal. Oh, he scores! Mihailov went right in to score and give the Soviet a 5-3 lead.
This goal's an example of not having coordinated team play. No one was sure who to take Mihailov. So what's he do? He keeps the puck. He walks right into the slot. Now they back away from him. He goes into the middle. He's all alone now. He's walking into the prime scoring area. What's he do? He puts a good backhand in the far corner. Dryden didn't have much of a chance on that goal.
There's one thing about the Soviets. They really can put that puck into the net when they get a chance. Mihailov was the one who did the trick. And now it's 5-3 for the Soviets. Here's another in front of the net as Yakushev stole the puck but missed the net. Puck is at center ice. It's cleared over the line to Zeman, and Canada recovers. Zeman goes right after it, centers it out. Shadron had a drive that was wide. Soviet keep it in. Lyapkin had a shot. Mahovlich tried to get it clear, drives it to the corner. Frank Mahovlich starts down the left side, but the Soviet had the speed to cover on the play. Puck rolls back into the Soviet zone. Vladiev deflected one off Shadron's stick. Yakushev got up over the line. Here they're closing in. Zeman gets right in. He scores! Zeman went rushing right in to score for the Soviet.
This is what the Soviets do. They score in bunches. They'll get you when you're down a little bit. Now Zeman just coasts in here. He miscues here with the puck. He's tripped up a little bit right there, but it comes back up to his stick. Dryden has already made his move, and he buries it in the far corner. Dryden made the move on that first anticipated shot. When he miscued, he was very lucky that it kicked back up to his foot, and he got by Dryden with his stick and threw it in the far side.
Unassisted for Zeman, 14:29, and it makes it 6-3 for the Soviet. A mix-up with Ellis in the corner there. They just rolled around a bit.
Foster, the tolerance level of a Soviet hockey player has to be higher than anybody.
With the score, the Soviets 6 and Canada 3. This is Game 1 from Montreal. 5:15 remaining in the game. The Soviet have burst into a big lead again, 6-3. And the Soviet get a penalty. High sticking is the call for that last play.
Team Canada has to take advantage of this penalty now. They've got to get good control, and they have to get the shots at Tretiak. I think Tretiak so far has probably been the biggest surprise in this game. I don't think anybody expected him to become the goaltender he has in this game. He's been cool on Phil Esposito. He's skated right out and stopped Frank Mahovlich. He's playing the slap shot better than I ever thought I'd see him do it.
He's very sharp. Rattel is out there at center, got the draw, it's centered in front of the net, a shot. Mahovlich thought it was in the net, but Tretiak kept it out, and it's Phil Esposito going back to get it. Canada putting on another drive after the Soviet came rushing back with a couple of fast goals. The Soviet break it up at center ice. It was Vikolov that did it, and Sealing falls back of his own net, tipped it to Esposito back of the goal. Esposito playing it over on the right side, and that splurge by the Soviets has more or less taken some of the steam out of the Canada attack.
Buster, a power play attack has to come up the ice with momentum. Team Canada does not have that momentum. Because there isn't this great coordination between your defensive pair and your forward line, they are coming up, the defensemen are carrying the puck up. The forward line isn't absolutely sure whether they should be breaking or waiting.
Petrov is going to center ice, and Mishakov is getting a turn. He hasn't been out there very often. So they're throwing in some of the reserves for the Soviets. But Petrov is still at center ice, but this is all part of the penalty killing. That's why Mishakov is in there likely. Puck is back of the goal. Park gets that puck for Canada. Soviets are still a man short, up to center ice. Rattel couldn't get anywhere. Park recovers, goes over the line. Park fakes a shot, goes into the corner, shoots, and it's deflected high into the crowd. But the Soviet team just seemed to have a player on the attacker every time.
They don't give you many chances, but again we saw an example. Brad Park made